Greetings, fellow traders. Bubblehead here, and it's time for the lunchtime market update for Tuesday, February 18th, 2020. I hope everybody's having a great trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Let's check and see where we're at the market today. So you can see the SPX so far is whoa, we got Netflix up here. So anyway, Netflix Ninja, we'll get to that in a second, but let's pull up the SPX here. So SPX inside week so far, right? So we are a little bit choppy so far, but it's a decent range, 19 points, but compared to the prior week. So it's basically a gap down on that Apple news overnight. Basically lowering their revenue guidance. So a little bit of weakness there in SPX, but it is putting in a lower shadow so far on the week and on the day, right? We talked about this last night that it's very interesting that we had an inside day on Friday. It was just below the micro trend line, right? So one of the things we could see is a breakdown of those levels and see if we reclaim those levels, right, and test those Thursday lows, right? And so that's exactly what happened there. So let's take a look at the price action and see how it did that today. So it was actually pretty interesting, right? So a little bit of bull trap this morning, right? So we gapped down, looked like they were going to fade the gap. We had a 15 orb potential breakout, right, and couldn't quite do it. Left with a hanging man right there, and then just flushed it to the downside of the next level. And then instead of taking it down, right, they tried to bring it up again. They gave you an upper shadow right here for another move to the downside on that one. And then we finally had a tail fail right here, back up to the 15 orb high. So we're back in that range right now. So we got to see exactly how we close today. So that explains really the that bit of that spinning top hammer that we're seeing right now on the daily chart. So that being said, let's take a look at some of the other big names that were happening today. So Tesla was big gap up again. Basically had some upgrades this morning, and is basically just contending within its 15 orb range. So it was mostly pre-market today. It couldn't give a big move off the open, so a lot of times it likes to do that, right? It couldn't quite clear its levels right here. It hit 860 even, and then came back in off of that upper shadow. So it's back in that 15 orb range right now, just kind of getting really tight in there. So we'll see if it's gearing up for another move later today. Shake Shack was another one that's a pretty good one. This one popped up on our scan today, and a few of our members grabbed this. This is pretty impressive stuff right here, right? We had this inside 15 at 15 orb high, and it finally broke out over all these levels, right? So it was a pretty amazing move today. Cleared this guy, and this guy here, and the 200-day moving average. Now we really need to see how it closes today. We talked about this last night in the live stream. We wanted to close over these levels right here with some good volume to look for a potential swing up to the next level, or even maybe an earnings run, coming up. So Shop is another one that's been pretty bullish today. A lot of folks like trading this one. It got over Friday's highs, which is pretty good, but it's again a little bit of a spinning top after earnings. It gave a nice inside 15 here for a 15 orb breakout today, so that's nice. It could be bull flagging right now, but it is looking a little bit weak here into the rest of the day. Twitter had some news. I think somebody took a stake in it today, so that gave a big pop and that hit our radar at one point here at the open. So that was a nice move on Twitter. Let's see if it holds that range. Again, really one of the key things with Twitter, right, is that it's defending its gap right now, its earnings gap, and it's trying to be pretty strong here. It's only its 200-day moving average, things like that. So it's taking up the spinning top right now. So that's important too. Netflix has been interesting as well. You saw we started the chart off with this one because I was looking at it, and it's been very, very interesting. Very strong candle day, nice inside day up, right? And look what it's doing on the weekly. This is very important. See this level, these major pivots on the weekly, depending on what kind of volume we get this week, could be very significant for Netflix, right? So it's starting to get really strong right here. Again, the range today is already almost 10 points, which is forming the week so far. So at this point, it's tough to chase here, right? So we could look for a pullback. Maybe it'll come back to the 15 orb high, right, and give a bounce off that. I love the double inside 15 up today off of these moves right here. Came back, tested the half of the inside 15 level at the open, right, the second inside 15 today, and then worked its way back up. So let's see how it closes today. Let's see if it can close above this upper shadow. That'd be really strong, and then we'll see if Netflix gets any more strength out of that one today. So that was pretty good. On the weak side, we did have Goldman Sachs. That's been on the weak radar all day. We have our scans that put out some of the strongest and the weakest stocks in front of us, and this was on the radar since the open. 15 orb down this morning. Nice double inside 15 pop to the down, or breakdown on the downside. So nice moves on Goldman Sachs there. So I have a couple chart requests that came through. So Nvidia is one of them. Nvidia and AMD, gosh, both of those have been really strong today. We'll take a look at AMD in a little bit. That's another chart request on that one. Nvidia just gave a nice pop up there. Another double inside 15 up here, working its way up to all-time highs. Let's see if we can get some strength here. Right, you can see on the daily chart, it looks like it's really trying to get to Friday's highs. So let's see if it's got any more strength in there. GDX. Right, so gold took a little pop, nice pop today. We saw, the SPX at one point was down like 25 points, right? So that gave a little bit of strength into the gold and the gold miners. So let's see how we close today. Obviously, if they rip the SPX into the close, this could, we could see a pullback in GDX. But sometimes they do work hand in hand if there's still some big volatility out there. Work has been really interesting. That gave a nice pop at the open. We like that, right? So it gave a nice move there. So anybody who's long over the weekend got to get some profits off of that one. And it looks like they did take a lot of profit today. Now it's putting in a shooting star right now. So off of those levels. So that's one to definitely keep an eye on as well. AMD, we talked about a little bit ago. AMD is looking, has just had an amazing move today. Strong breakout, all-time highs, very, 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 very big moves today. Good volume, and the day's not even over yet. Double inside 15 up for the 15-hour breakout, and just a huge move still to the upside. That was on our scans today too. Disney. Disney was on the bearish radar for a good part of the day today. We had an inside 15 down. Now it's just kind of chopping around, maybe doing a bear flag right now. I imagine it's going to try to hold. I think we're at the 200-day moving average right here on the daily. I imagine it's going to do its best to get over that. If not, that could be kind of bad news for Disney going forward. Lyft was on the bearish radar for a good part of the day today. It did get a little bit of a relief bounce here, which is nice. It had a beautiful short opportunity on Friday and got some follow through to the downside today. So a little bit of short covering there. It's right back over the 15 orb right now. So let's see if we can get any strength on it. But this one was definitely hit the bearish radar intraday today as it was pulling back there. So that's one to look at. And then, of course, finally, Facebook. This was another one that was on our bullish radar at the open today. Just an incredible move on Facebook out of the gate. Big push over the pre-market levels and then a push over the prior day's high, and then it got into its open gap. We talked about this on Twitter as being a strong one, as it's working to fill its earnings gap, which is really pretty impressive, that it's doing this right. So let's see how it closes today. Let's see if we can get into that gap and finish closing that gap right there. And if it closes above it, that's very, very bullish for Facebook, for the most part. It's showing, some good strength, good change of exposure to the upside over the 50-day moving average, over the 200. So really this gap down was really just almost a buying opportunity on this thing, right? So tag the cloud and then back over the 50-day moving average and see ya, right? So that's some nice stuff right there. So good. So let's keep an eye on that. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day today. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.